Okay, hopefully that's better. There we go. Cool. All right. Off to a good start. It looks like everything decided to forget all of my sources, but hopefully you can hear me okay now. And hopefully that's the last little clip we'll have for the rest of the stream. So yeah, welcome to this evening stream. It's just going to be the usual sort of chilled, laid-back stream with myself. Going to be sort of kicking back, doing a little bit of work in Guess Who, so the game we've been making for the last couple of weeks. Basically, the premise of the game is the players have to hide amongst a bunch of NPCs, and one player, who's the hunter, has to try and find who the players are. We released it last week. We had a pretty good fun, actually. I quite enjoyed playing it with the with people watching. We've had a little bit of feedback throughout the week. I know AJ played it on the play along stream on the Wednesday night. So I've got a few notes, a few things I've noted that I think would be pretty good to try and resolve going forward, to give us things like kind of a bit more balancing, because it was really difficult actually to play as the hunter. So we're going to do a few things. We're going to give the hunter some power-ups. We're going to give the players, the hiders, a reason to try and basically get close to the hunter. And we're going to do a few kind of quality of life things. I'm going to add a change log and a few things like that. So basically, yeah, hopefully this is a good example of how you can take a game, publish it, get some feedback, and start to work on things, little bits of feedback and stuff going forward. So here we have our game. Okay, so if you haven't seen it yet, basically players have to hide on this island. There's a bunch of NPCs that start up in the sky. They drop down, they run around, they do strange things. They sort of kind of sprint randomly, they crouch, they roll, they act quite erratically. And the point is that is quite an easy thing for a player to mimic. You know, a player can run around doing similar kind of strange actions, and they can blend in with the NPCs quite well. And the hunter then has to try and work out who the actual players are. There might be things that give them away, like they kind of walk slightly differently to an NPC in terms of they're not quite so straight. NPCs will always walk in a straight line, for example. The way they turn, like an NPC will sort of snap a lot more, whereas in this, the player might, if a player turns gradually, it kind of gives them away. There's a few little things. I think the first thing I want to try and address is making it so the players have to try and get close to the hunter, because this was the thing I noticed, is a lot of players would hide on the map. They would hide behind buildings, they would hide somewhere, which is fine, they're supposed to be hiding, but I think I want to try and encourage them to have to blend in more as an NPC. So one thing I want to do is make it that the hider's health is constantly ticking down. So they're constantly and gradually losing health for the entire round. Now, the point there is that if the hiders obviously run out of health, they'll die. So to get their health back, they have to get within a certain radius of the hunter. So what I'm thinking there is it will basically force them to have to get close to the hunter. Now, that might give them away a little bit too much, but the way the NPCs move, they'll constantly be getting quite close to the hunter anyway. So there's a few little things there. I might add a couple of pickups around the map that give you a bit of health back, so you don't have to go to the hunter. But to get more health back, for example, maybe that's when you go to the hunter, something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first add to the player. So this is my hider player template. And I don't think, I guess I can just add this in on the health script. So again, as always, I haven't particularly planned a huge amount of how I'm going to do these things. I've just planned what I'm going to do, and you know, hopefully it gives an idea of a bit of live debugging, a live kind of problem solving. It's not like necessarily strictly a tutorial. It's just me kind of, you know, putting out my thoughts about how I'm achieving certain things. And if anybody at any point has any questions about things I'm doing and how you might do things differently, or you know, a particular problem you've got in a game you want to talk through, then feel free to fire them out in chat. We use this as a bit of a live game development forum. So while I'm making games, it doesn't have to be relative to what I'm doing. You can ask me anything really about Crayta game development, about your own game, about the engine, anything like that. Yeah, feel free to get those suggestions coming as well. If you've got any ideas of things to do with this game that I'm making in particular, that'd be pretty cool. You know, there's plenty of scope here to add stuff to this. Okay, so what do we want to do? I think on init, so when a player initializes, we want to start counting down their health, perhaps. We need to make sure it doesn't kill you when you're in the lobby. Or maybe, what I might do is I'll see if I can add. Is there can I find out if I'm in a lobby? let's see everywhere that references something like is lobby. So I know we have a few things that call it spawn script. Ah, no, that's okay. That's for if the spawn point is for the lobby. Okay, so I'm not sure that's going to work. Okay, maybe what I'll do then is I might write a new function for this, something that I trigger on all instances of the players. Perhaps, like, after the round starts or something like that. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So let's say start round damage, something like that. Okay, so we're probably just going to do a schedule in here. Something that's going to tick over constantly while they're alive. And, this is on the player, so when the players die, this will cancel, all that sort of stuff. The lobby is outside the main area, so maybe it is overlapping, but that's my quick into these sort of things. The lobby is outside the main area, so maybe it is overlapping, but that's my quick and dirty solution to these sort of things. Quick and dirty solution to what sort of things? I might have missed what you mean there. Okay, if the players aren't in the lobby. Sorry, I see what you're saying now. So I can find out if they're in the lobby because if they're not in the lobby, then they're literally not in that trigger. Gotcha. Yeah, that could work. I think this way might be smarter rather than making it so it always damages people and then turn it off for certain conditions. I think I'll just make it so it only happens in the right conditions. Feels like the better way to approach it. So while true, do the following. So we're going to do this constantly until this player entity is destroyed, end of the round, they're killed, anything like that. We still need to do a wait in here, so we'll probably every second we'll take a chunk of health off. Yeah, and we'll probably just directly call on damage, and then that sort of will apply damage. Damage amount. Okay, let's put this in a property so we can adjust it easy enough. I want it to be enough that you would die within a round without, if you did nothing, you would die. I don't want it to be something that is like a constant battle. So maybe if you lost like 10 every second, that might work. We can always tweak that. Okay, so the amount of damage to take is my property. Shoot direction is not relevant. Hit result. Okay, so the hit result is going to be nil because you're not actually taking damage from anywhere. You're hurting yourself. So you are the from entity, and that should do. Okay, so every second, apply damage. Then on the game controller, I think here what I should be able to do is say on round start. So I want to do this on every instance of the player. So not necessarily not the hunter. And this will mean it doesn't happen in the lobby either. So start round damage. Okay, on round end shouldn't matter because on round end the player will get destroyed and it'll end it anyway. So I shouldn't need to consciously turn it off. It should always just handle itself. So let's assume that's the case. Get my second Stadia player ready to join. What might want to do? What next? Okay, let's do the healing. Okay, so here's my hunter. This is a different template now. This is the hunt template, although that code I've just done will carry across in the same health widget. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a trigger And this is going to be a healing trigger. And we'll add a script to this. Healing trigger script. Okay, so what we'll do is add an amount of health to heal. Heal amount, the number. Let's say you get 1,000 health. So at this point, I'm going to assume you can get all of your health back. Let's make sure it's players only. Okay, so when I enter this trigger, if player is not equal to this parent, so basically I don't want it to trigger when we enter it ourselves and get healed ourselves. That doesn't make sense. So if the player is not the parent of this trigger, which is the hunter, then it must be one of the other players. In which case, let's send to that player, send to scripts, heal. Okay, and then the health script has a heal function already, which just takes the amount and from what healed it. So the amount to heal and everything else should be handled. So it is always good to always look for a function that might be doing the thing. I could obviously access this player's health directly from here and update it, but having a function there means I've got one place which handles all the logic around that. So stopping me from going over the max health and all things like that. So it's always good to check if there's a kind of a common function that you can use, like the heal. There, heal amount, and so I'll pass the entity. It doesn't do anything with that at the minute, but I think it's worth having there anyway. So player send to script heal and heal amount. So if a player enters that, I probably don't need to worry too much about them entering the trigger again really quickly after, because it's only going to look more suspicious on them if that's the case. So I think that's probably okay. I'm going to get my second player in. Okay, they're on the way now. So if all goes to plan, in theory, what I'll have now is the player that spawns, the hider, should have their health slowly start ticking down, and the hunter should basically be a healing point. Okay, so okay. Here's my second player. Right, so I'm going to press F5. Let's see what happens. I'll make the other player the hunter. So my health not ticking down now. That's good. Then it does start ticking down. Not here. Probably an error. Or not. Okay, so what I'm thinking might have happened there is I might have triggered that logic before I actually spawned. Another thing I noticed actually, which I'll make sure I address, is a few times players shot another player because it wasn't an instant kill. They didn't realise. So I think I'll make anytime you shoot a player, just make it an instant kill, so you can't play it more than once. Right, let's see what we can do here. Quick, easy fix would just be to add. No, that wouldn't necessarily work. Let's see if it was actually calling it at all. Because I'm thinking it might be calling this before we've actually got a player to call that on, in which case I need to think of a slightly different way of approaching this. If it didn't call this function at all, it meant that there was no instances of this template when it tried to call it. then all of our players spawned. I can't just say delay in that function because that script doesn't exist necessarily. Hey Rosie, how's it going? Okay, so we did see a start round damage. Oh wait, no, was that for? I think that was for the lobby. No, it can't have been because of calling it. Ah, I see. Okay, so we're calling it and then we're respawning. So yeah, that is what I thought was the problem. So our players are being respawned. So it does feel like it would need to be something we call on init and only on the right player. So let's try this. If self get entity get user script property team is equal to equal to 1, so that's our hider team. Start round damage. So that will basically get around that. It's only going to happen when we spawn a player. So let's get rid of our call there. So the problem is now it's going to happen in the lobby. So we could go the dry coasts approach of checking is the player inside the lobby. You know what? It might not actually be that bad of an idea. So let's have a look. I could have a trigger around here. I don't know. I've got this world trigger. If they're inside this trigger, then do the logic. Otherwise, don't. That could work. I think I called it death trigger. Yeah. Okay. So we'll just call it the game zone trigger. We know it's a trigger, so we could say so if they're on team 1 and self, no, not self entity. If self.properties game zone trigger. So if the trigger that we're going to refer to has the player inside it now, then we're going to start it. So basically, that's how we're kind of, as Dryco says, it feels like lazy scripting, but it's just as valid an approach. I could go through the route of storing somewhere if it was the lobby that they just spawned from and stuff, but actually it's just nice and quick, simple check. Are they in the trigger? No, then they must be in the game zone. Oh, sorry, yeah, are they in the trigger? Yes. Then they must be in the game zone, therefore, we're going to start playing. I might just move this little bit here actually inside. Because that means I can guard against not having a trigger. So the only people that are ever going to have this trigger assigned are people on team 1. And this just means I don't need to assign that trigger to the hunter, for example. Death trigger. Okay, so we're going to say, are they on team 1? Yes. Are they in the trigger? Yes. Therefore, let's start the round. Damage, and we should now see in the console, we should see them spawn and then we get the call. We're not losing health now, that's good. Good, thanks, dude. What are you doing here? I mean, what are you doing in the game? Yeah, what are you doing here? Yeah, it's just, it's my job. Okay, I'm a hunter. Am I not seeing the print? Okay. Okay, let's solve this problem. What's happening now? So something here is not working. Oh, remove the print. That might have actually worked, but I removed the print so I couldn't see it working. Self-applied damage. Entity applied damage. That's probably it. I don't think you can call applied damage on a script. No. Okay. That's probably it. I was just trying to apply damage to a script, which makes no sense. It's the entity you apply it to. And actually, I reckon if I clear my search, that's probably going to come up with the error. Oh no, didn't error. Okay, still not working. I'm the hunter, but I can see my other character hasn't got it. Ah, here we go. Health script 49, no function to take that number of calls. Let's change it to that one, vector.0, because we don't care about where the damage is coming from. See if that one works this time. What are you doing in game? So basically, yeah, I think Unai's nailed it there. So the whole premise of the game is we've got a hunter versus some players. The one hunter has to find all the players who are hiding amongst the NPCs, basically. Ah, cool. Okay, so I'm taking damage now. It's showing me the damage indicator, so I probably want to turn that off because that's confusing. But I am taking damage every hit. That's good. Oh, and I can't get into the hunter's trigger. I don't think I made it any bigger. Oh no, there's that error appearing there. Okay, let's go and have a look at what I've done there. Probably done something silly. Health script 115, attempt to perform arithmetic on local amount. Okay, nil. Heal amount, self-dot properties, heal amount. There we go. Misspelling. So I was passing nil instead of a number, so that should fix that. Let me make that trigger a little bit bigger, actually. Let's go something like 300 by 300 by 300, and move up a touch, move up about 125. Okay, so that's the trigger that the player's got to get inside of to get some health back. And I'm wondering, instead of applying damage, because I don't want that UI to appear about where I'm taking damage from, unless I can hide that in here somehow. Yeah, I'm not really sure where that damage indicator comes from. Have a little search. Damage indicator script on damage. Okay, so that's coming in here when I'm applying damage. I might just comment this out because I don't think you're only ever going to get shot, instantly killed, or have that damage. I don't think I need to see where the damage is coming from. It's not going to make sense, especially because I'm going to go to the gun now before I forget. I'm going to make the gun do 1,000 with no fall off. So basically, it's going to do a flat 1,000 damage. It's always going to do 1,000, and that's enough to just instantly kill the player. And that was just one way. I'm hoping that's going to help the balance for the hunter, because before the hunters, I saw quite often were shooting a player, it wasn't killing them, and then they were moving on, assuming it was an NPC. Yeah. Okay, cool. That should do it. Right, let's see where we're up to now. Okay, so we've got over there. A couple of other things I'm going to do. I'm going to add some power-ups for the hunter because I feel like they need a bit of a hint, a bit of help. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is if they can get a kill, they get a point, and then they can use that point to basically use a power-up. So they have to have at least killed someone before they can start doing power-ups, but it should help, you know, as there's less people to find. Okay, which bones is me? Which bones is me? There's that one. Oh, removing the health bar is another thing. Okay, but I can see my health ticking down. I might speed it up a bit because, yeah, it's going to take, what, 100 seconds to lose all my health. So I might double it, 20, so you've got 50 seconds, maybe even more. Because you kind of want to be in a position where the hiders are having to, yeah, basically get close. And I can see there that got my health back. That's good. That's the point. We want people to kind of come up and do like, close passes. Not necessarily, have to tap them on the shoulder, but if they can sneak behind them or if they can just sort of blend in with a crowd of NPCs. Something like that. I think there's a lot in there. And then let's just test this. If I shoot bones in the leg, there's enough damage there to kill them outright. I played it dry coast loads. It's really cool. I think I meant exactly what you're doing. Oh, I see what you're doing here. Yeah, so that was that. So what I'm trying to do there is balance out stopping people from being able to hide. So now you should have to approach the hunter and actually get close to them in order to get some health back. So at some point during the round, you're going to have to, get close, which I think is going to help balance that out a little bit. Cool, I'll take that. That's good. Right. Let's have a look at these power-ups as an idea. So a couple of ideas I had for power-ups were the ability to freeze all of the NPCs with a very short warning. So perhaps something that goes, it's a countdown for all the players. It's like, 3, 2, 1. So you've got to be quick to react to basically stop what you're doing, and all of the NPCs will stop. And if the player will see all of the NPCs stop at the same time, and if a couple of people then take a couple of extra steps, it's going to make it clear that they're players. So it's just a way to try and catch people out. And the other one was some sort of distance meter. So perhaps you can use a point to get 30 seconds where it shows you how close the nearest player is. So it'll say, 30 meters, 29, 28, 27 for the nearest player. So you can start to kind of gauge if you're really close to someone, or if you've got it active as someone walks towards you to heal, you can see the number getting lower. It kind of gives them away a bit. There's a few little kind of mechanisms to hopefully help with that. If you've got any ideas for what a good little power up might be for the hunter, then do let me know. And also if there's any ideas for little power ups for the hiders as well, just so there's a bit more kind of features on both sides. I'm thinking perhaps every time they get close to the hunter, they get a point. They can use that for some sort of power up, maybe going invisible, maybe something like that. So we'll do a couple of hunter ones. I don't want to change too much in terms of the sort of meta of the game because it'll be interesting to get this published and get some feedback. Do more is less is more sometimes. I think when you're balancing, because it'd be good to know exactly what's helping with balance. If you change loads of things, it's kind of hard to then go back and think what particular thing has made a difference. Does thermal show NPCs? So that I wasn't sure about actually, and it's an interesting point. We should be able to tell now actually. We just go here. I did think about yeah, it does. I did think about using thermal, but then I figured that's probably a little bit obvious. But yeah, thermal works on NPCs as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this logic on the hunter. feel like it makes sense. Again, this is a template that is destroyed at the end of rounds. A lot of the logic will be cleaned up for me automatically. So let's create a new script folder for Hunter ability. Add a new script. Okay, so we'll think about UI and stuff shortly, but I guess in the meantime, let's think about how this is going to work. I'm probably going to do it rather than having like lots of power up options. I might just have a couple that are done to key bindings for now, and if I find that I end up adding more and more powers, I'll probably do some sort of little kind of power up menu perhaps. But for now, I think just a couple of different button presses that you can use to basically trigger these. So we'll do we'll do the freeze one first. I'm interested to see how that's going to work. So freeze NPC power button. I'm going to make some options up here actually, just keep this nice and neat. So add some buttons in here, and I kind of just want this to be on extra buttons. So extra 1, 2, 3, 4. Reload is going to be taken up by one of those already. We can always add more if we need to. Okay, so I've got those there. We'll make this so it comes from those options. Okay. The freeze NPC, and we'll just call it a radar. It's not really a radar, but okay, so we'll pick our two buttons from here. Then what we'll do is we'll kind of fire up a couple more functions here. So we're going to need to know on button press, so when has the user pressed the button, and then we can catch if it's one of our power-ups. We're going to need a variable to track how many points they have. They start with 0. We'll add an on kill here where we basically increment power up points by 1. Let's add a max. Points here. So I basically want to be able to determine from the properties what the max is, and I'm going to say 3 for now. It might be that as I balance more and more, I think actually, we shouldn't be able to store that many power-ups. So, we can start to play with those numbers over here. And it's always good to think about parameterizing or adding them to properties, a lot of these things, just so you can help balance and tweak things faster in the future. I'm not going to have to come in and start adding more code. I can just come and tweak numbers. In order to sort of keep that true, so we'll say math.min between that and our max power up point. So basically we're going to say what's the smaller number between power up points plus 1 and our max, and it will just take the smaller number. So that way you can kind of cap it. It's always going to, it's never going to go above your max number. So on button press, we need to fire some of these things. Let's say if button is equal to our self.properties freeze button, then we're going to do the button logic. Oh, sorry, the freeze logic. Or if it's the radar power button, we do the radar logic. Okay, so let's do the actual power itself. So it's going to be freeze. Freeze NPC power. Freeze time. How long do we want to freeze them for? Probably not too long. Let's say 5. Let's say freeze warning, because I think it's only fair to give the hiders some warning. Like quick 2-second warning. Okay. So how are we going to do this? We are going to need to collect all of the NPCs. No, I can probably do this via an event quite nice actually. Let's set up a new event for on freeze. On freeze all of our NPCs. And then I'm going to need to add a new function that stops them and then gets them to walk again after after their freeze time. So we'll do this in a schedule because we're going to need to add in that warning. So we're going to need to stop the execution for a second or two. Stadia timed out. Okay, I'll be a little while now. So what we're going to do first, we're going to need to warn all of the players who are all of the players who are hiders. Yeah, that's right. So get world for each user. Really useful function for just quickly getting through all of the users. Property team. Okay, so if user find property team, then, and what we'll probably do now, just as a quick something, so send to scripts, we're going to shout, so we're just going to shout into the notifications. The freeze message, which will basically say freeze. Okay, so we're going to warn them to freeze. The shout is going to appear for a couple of seconds. Message time values. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to straight away go into a wait for the warning time. And then we're going to fire our property. So we shout to everybody who's on team 1 to freeze for 2 seconds. We wait for that 2 seconds. Then we fire our function, which is going to pause the NPCs. Okay, we need to do something around kind of taking a point off them, but for now we'll leave that as that so we can test it easier. So the NPC script is going to need a new function. So this is my script which controls everything an NPC can do. Make this a bit bigger. Okay, so we'll do a new function. Flip it in here. call this freeze. So first thing we're going to want to do is check that they're alive, because if they've died, we don't need to worry about it. But only if they're alive, we're going to do the following. And what we're going to do is probably cancel. We've got any schedules running here. So we have got a schedule if we're in emoting. Might. And that's probably okay. I just want to stop them moving, if anything. We do one of these things, then we wait, then we do another one, then we wait. I'm just trying to think here how it's going to conflict. Am I going to suddenly end up with some logic that comes up and takes over? Maybe a timing thing. Let's see how it works. If I just say literally just try cancel movement, we'll see how the effect looks. This might be quite a good way of stopping most of the NPCs. A couple of NPCs might move again quite quickly, and then it's a question of was that a player, was it not? I think by cancelling the movement and stopping a lot of them at the same time will kind of at least give you an idea of who the NPCs were, and then it kind of narrows the field. That might work out quite nicely, actually. And then they'll probably then just move automatically again within the next loop anyway. Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to leave that as that. I'm going to see how that works. So let's say that is on extra one. I can never remember what they all line up with. Let's have a look. Binding. Extra one is okay, so we'll leave that because that's the gun. So I could have them on. I could have them on V and B, left and right. That feels quite nice. VB left and right. So we'll do them on 4 and 5. Okay, the other thing I want to do before I come away from this is the prompts, which I believe I've got prompts in here already. A user prompts through there. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to add a new function just to show the prompts on the hunter. Okay, prompts are a really good way of contextually showing what's going on at any given time, so I can basically choose when to show these, depending on how many watches I've got. Worth bearing in mind this happens on the local client, so you will have to think about that. But what I can do in the meantime is just say prompt start, self.properties, freeze power button. Is equal to freeze prompt, and I can do the same thing basically for the other one. What have I called that? Radar. Radar prompt. So let's write those text properties up here quickly. Okay, freeze prompt. Press. So it'll say press V to freeze NPCs. to use radar. Okay, let's have a look. See how much of that actually works. Okay, I want to be a hunter this time, so I'm going to stand over here. Okay, so you can see there in the bottom now, I've got a couple of options have appeared. Press V to freeze, press B to use radar. But let's see how well this works. If I press V. Nothing happened. Didn't it break? If I press V again. Okay, get some prints in the console. Let's see where this is getting stopped. So that should be working. So let's see if we're getting this called. Freeze NPC power. So we should be seeing a shout on freeze and. Okay, let's see. Should be working. Oh, so they did all. I think they did stop then. Maybe they just need to. I need to force them to stop for longer. So it is working. I can see that they are all stopping. My other player is getting a prompt to say freeze. Okay. What I might do, might have a look at making that happen for longer. Or I add a property to say that they're frozen. So I want to basically say they can't move 5 seconds. So I cancel the move. Oh wait, this is just doing a behavior check, isn't it? So how are they moving? I move to node. Move to position. Once I arrive. Oh, okay. I then move. Once whether or not I've arrived, I move to node again. So I can probably catch. Need to be a prop. No, yeah, frozen time. It's frozen. Yeah, no. That's not what I'm looking for. So I need an is frozen like this. Ideally. They're not frozen. So when I say freeze, I take the freeze time. I cancel movement. Say that I'm frozen. I'm going to wait for the freeze time. And then I'm going to be unfrozen. Okay, and then what I'm hoping is when I'm unfrozen, I can basically Let's see. Oh, I'll probably just call move to node. That's going to basically stop my movement, going to lock me in with a freeze, and then what I can do then is basically say, don't, if you're frozen, don't do this. As long as I'm not emoting. Okay, we keep calling the same function, don't we? So we recursively call move to node until I find the node that isn't the one I just went to. When I arrive, if I'm not emoting, if I am emoting, how do I then move again? Is that forced through, I guess, at the end of the emote function? I guess what I'm saying is move to node. Okay, cool. So as long as in here, if self is frozen, then return. So basically never move if you're frozen. Cancel. I call cancel. That's going to call this. Yeah, that should do it. I think that should hold up. Let's see. Let's see if we can get them. Oh wait, missed a little step there. That should freeze them for the time. So in doing that, I've passed through freeze time, and that's going to kind of control how long we wait for there. So I need to pass that through here. Freeze time. That should do it now. So it should be a 2-second freeze, 2-second warning with a 5-second freeze. So we should see the NPCs all stop for 5 seconds to make it really clear that they've stopped. So they won't then decide to move. Hi, Gaming Bear. How's it going? Okay. Oh, I picked the wrong character, didn't I? Right, so let's freeze all the NPCs. So they keep doing some jumps and stuff, and then they'll move. Okay, cool. That works much better. Okay, cool. Yeah, so there's a little bit of movement. Some of them will run around, not run around, will do a roll. Some of them will jump, crouch. So there's some motion to a degree, but they've stopped running around, and I think that will help. You know, if someone keeps running around, they're not paying attention, or if they are too slow. If they're too slow to stop running and they kind of stumble forward a couple of extra paces when all the other ones stop, I think that'll be, you know, a really obvious, really clear way. So I think, yeah, that one works quite nicely. I like that. Let's have a look at doing the radar power. So I do have a script, or sorry, a package I made a while ago, player distance logic. Provides a script for allowing players to see the distance to a specified target. I'm thinking I can leverage this with another little loop that's basically checking the proximity to the players, picking the closest one, and then making that the target. So this is quite a handy little package I made a while ago. If you're interested in distance-based sort of logic for stuff, fairly straightforward. You just get your player template that you want to have it, and if you go and drag on player distance logic, okay, that gives you a script folder, and you can see here you get a kind of bit of UI, and on this UI you've actually got quite a few options. So for example, you could specify the kind of the message that appears. Is it kind of, do you want to see the name of the target? Otherwise it would just say target. You know, a few different things. Hide distance or proximity, so it could be that when you're kind of within 10 meters of something you actually hide the thing, so you can specify that and the label will change. Things like that. You know, there's quite a few little fun things you can do with this package to kind of help guide players to objectives without necessarily giving away the thing. So there's a target here we can leave blank, and what that will do is it will require you to set the target through here. So I'm going to leave this as it is, the target being an entity. think, yeah, let's see. If I don't include the target name, it will be called, it will use target. So I could change that to say like closest player or something. And we're going to have it in meters rather than centimeters. Because, you know, kind of within a meter should be enough. So, okay, let's do that. So what I need is a bit more logic in the hunter ability script. A new function here. Okay, so this is going to use a similar sort of model here with a schedule that's going to run. Radar runtime, so how long are they going to have this power for? Let's say it's going to run for 20 seconds. That might be enough actually, so the runtime. So let's see, well true. No, not well true. We need it on a timer. So we'll make a little timer. So the timer is equal to our radar runtime. Okay, and while timer is greater than or equal to 0, do. And then each time what we're going to do is going to reduce timer by 1. Wait a second. So that's going to basically count down, wait a second, count down, wait a second, count down, wait a second, and it's going to only run for 30 iterations. So that's how we can kind of control that. Hey, Dirix. So I'm going to wait a second at a time. So what we can do now is we can basically say what we need to do each second is find the nearest player and then tell this hunter how close they are. So we need to get all of our users. Okay, we can't use the for each user loop that we've done before, the one we've done up here. Because this gets called what we call asynchronously. So it's going to get called and we're not going to be able to necessarily get the results back from that. So by doing a get world get users loop, we can kind of control when we're going through that loop, and we're not going to necessarily get kind of no ability to check on what we need to do. So we can kind of the order of execution is maintained. So we can do this, then we do this line, then we do kind of this line, this line, this line, rather than what we would do with this is we would just sort of do that and then move on. What are you doing? What I'm doing, making a game currently, making some balancing changes to Guess Who. And if you haven't played Crayta before, and you're kind of learning more about Crayta, head over to crayta.com, or you can head over to this Discord. It's discord.gg/Crayta. All the links are around the bottom of the screen. But yeah, I'd recommend checking it out if you're interested in game development or just playing some fun games completely free on Google Stadia and the Epic Game Store. So if in fact, no, now we're going to do a different loop. So it's not this for each user loop. We're going to do a for user in. Okay, so we're just looping through all of our users here. And if user, the first thing we want to do is check the team, I guess. So if they're on team 1, and let's get their player here. So, and player. So as long as they've got a player and it's valid, then what we can do is store their distance. Oh, my mouse appears to have died. 1 sec. There we go. Okay. So when I've got my player, I guess what I can basically do is track two things here. I need to know, all I'm trying to find out in this second is who is closest. So distance of something really big. Yeah, distance of that and those nil. Right, okay. So if they're on team one and they have a valid player, then let's get the distance to them. It's going to be a vector distance between the get position and this entity's position. If the distance to hunter is less than my distance, which in the first loop it should be lower than this, then what we want to do is set our closest player equal to player. Okay, so by the time we've looped through this, we've been through all the users, we've basically worked out who is the closest player. Then what we want to do is, sorry, on this entity, center scripts set target of the closest player. Okay, so we're basically what we're saying there is find out who's closest player and set the target to that player, which is going to trigger this function in here. And it's going to give us what we need. It's going to kind of pull out the relevant information, set the target, and then from there we should be good. So I'll do a little bit of work in a sec about hiding and showing that UI, but it might show it from the start. That should at least trigger that logic. Radar power, let's make sure we're calling that. Okay, cool. So let's see if that works. Okay, let's. Yeah, I want to be the hunter. Okay, so press B to use radar. In routine, attempt to call closest player. Can I play with you? Not tonight. We're not playing. We're not doing play along as such. It's more creation tonight. If you are interested in playing along with the streams, though, then do make sure you tune in on Thursday this week. AJ is not live tomorrow. He's live on Thursday, usual time of 7 p.m. BST, and that's the best time to play with kind of the staff if you want to play some games. And I recommend coming back and tuning in on Thursday. Right, so let me see where that went wrong. 91. Oh, I'm calling that as a function, that's fine. Okay, so it looks like the logic worked. It got to this point at least. So let's see. I've had some incorrect braces at the end. Okay, let's see this time. There we go. Okay, so I can see that's appeared at the side. I'll get a 15, 13, 12. There we go. Okay. So that's one thing I need to remove is the on-screen bit, because yeah, that would kind of give them away a bit. It's obvious, but in terms of the actual package, just giving me what I need. The edge, good. And then after 30 seconds, it should remove that. Or at least it should stop counting. Let's see. Well, in fact, it won't stop counting. That's because I'm not clearing the target. What I need to do is after this while loop, after here, I need to send scripts. Clear target, and what that's going to do is that's going to remove. That's going to remove this here. Let me just see what I'm doing logic-wise. So on tick, I'm basically showing what's going on. I think if I don't have a target, it should just hide it. Okay, so the actual hiding of it should all be handled nicely. Let me just see. I've got a property set up already, which should not show me the in-world bit. I think I have. There we go. Show on-screen position. If I untick that, that's going to stop showing me that kind of label on the player itself. There we go. Can I please free coins, please? I've been playing since day one. No free coins, I'm afraid. I don't have the power to do that. We do have a sale on coins at the moment now, I believe. If you head over to the Stadia store, I believe it's on Stadia. Head over to the in-game store, and you might see some discount on coins. Oh, I'm the wrong hunter. I'll wipe that. We'll start a new round. Okay, so I'll make sure I'm the hunter this time. And then after this, what I'm going to need to do is probably have a play with. I'm getting it so the kills get you the points in which to use the abilities. Okay, so use radar. 4, 5, 2, 1. Okay, there we go. That's kind of driven me towards this player, so that works quite well. I can't see them on screen anymore. And that's disappeared. Nice. Okay. Cool. That's pretty good. That's all worked out quite nicely. So yeah, really handy package. If you are looking to use some sort of distance-based tips kind of for the players or guide them to an objective, I'd recommend having a look at the distance logic package. So next, I need to wrap up a bit more here about actually being able to spend coins. So what I might do is I might make power-up points actually a property. And I'll show you in a moment why I'm doing that. Type number. That's a default of 0. So we basically start with 0. We need to update this here to say accessing the properties now. There's going to cost a point to use either of those things. On kill, we're going to increase that. Let's add a check in above all this. If self.properties power-up points is greater than 0, so only if we have any points can we do any of these things. Okay, and then down here, so the reason I've moved that to be a property is because anything we update on the server, so any property we update on the server will automatically be available on local clients. And then because this is called on a local client, it's allowing me to quickly and easily refer to the same thing. So if properties power of points is greater than 0. If we have a point, then we can show. Then we can actually show the prompts in the bottom corner. So they'll only appear when we have a point now. And the reason that is just kind of to help kind of make it clear when you can and can't do certain things. So on kill, how am I going to catch an on kill? I guess on the health script for the player on died. And what we can do here is when a player dies, in fact, is it when a player dies? Because if they just walk off the world, they technically die. And I need it to be when they get a kill. So it could be easy enough to do. We do know what kills a player. We do have a from entity. Oh, we're passing in from entity here. Okay, cool. Now maybe I can do what I was going to do then. Yeah, let's try it. So if I say on died for the instance of the hunter, where's it going to be? Hunter ability kill. That sells this and them. Okay, so let's killed entity, killer entity, or I'll say from entity to keep it the same. So what was killed and what is the from entity? If the from entity is equal to this entity, so basically if the thing that killed it is me, then we add the point. Let's see if that works. So all I'm thinking there is I can't remember exactly what gets the from entity status. It might be the gun itself, in which case we'll have to check the parent. We shall see. So if I go over here, it's going to be a difficult one to test because I'm not going to know. Oh, the round's going to end. So I can't see the prompts at the bottom, so that's a good start. I can see that my player is stood here. Hey, okay, cool. That works. So I got the press V, press B. So maybe now I just need a little bit of UI to show me how many points I've got. And I'm wondering where I'm going to put that. That's all my stuff that appears on the hunter. So I could probably put it on the left here somewhere. There's nothing any more players. Yeah, so what I'm thinking, I'm probably going to, at some point shortly, I'm going to publish this as it is. I'm going to try and get a change login quickly. A little bit of instructions update, and then I'm going to publish this. So yeah, hopefully soon. If you guys want to do actually want to play this evening, you get ready to jump in on Crayta. Will be probably in the next 20 minutes or so. I'm hoping we can have to publish and give it a go. Hunter ability. So let's add a widget to this. Hunter ability UI. So what do I need to know in here? I need to know. Let's set up a new property. Should have the properties at the top. Let me pull up another. Yeah, it seems to have lost this little bit. Am I just being blind? Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's there. So add a new asset property for the points message, so the number of points we've got. Okay, let's split the screen so we can see what we're doing. I want it to appear on the side over here. Power up points. I want that to basically appear on the side, so it'll be small. View width like 10. That works. 10 view width. I haven't actually played with this much, so let's learn as we do it. So yeah, the actual being able to move UI differently. That I keep pressing. Actually, a really nice way of being able to position UI now. So yeah, so let's throw this that corner. Yeah, cool. What else do we want to do? We want to make a border that's white, which we already have. Okay, so that's then going to appear on the hunter. So let's get that updating now. So I've got my power up points here. So I should be able to just access that directly from in here. So we can say, we'll just do this local on tick. Going to update our hunter ability UI dot properties dot points message with a message from here formatted. Like so. Right, okay, so basically what I've got there is a bit of a complicated line of code, but I'll show you. So basically what I'm saying here is get the hunter ability UI, access its properties and update its points message. That's going to change the message on the screen. How I'm changing that is going to be from a property on this script formatted with the number of points. Or points message, not power up message. Okay, and that points message is basically going to read power ups. It might take a bit less space then. And then points. Okay, so that points is going to get replaced by whatever I put in this little bit here. So we should see that all makes sense for us. Do that. Oh, have I? Okay, I think I messed up something else there by putting that in. Okay, I think I've misunderstood what that's doing. But power ups has appeared at the side there. That's worked pretty nicely. Yeah, Rosie. Where's my guy? power up points 1. Okay. Cool, so that's appearing nicely. I think I've just messed up the rest of the Hunter's UI there. So let me just, I've done something I didn't want to do. So let's put that back and do it slightly differently. Let's just see if that does change it. No, that does seem to be messed up still. It's almost like that sign. Almost like this is being copied through. Oh, it's because I changed it. That's why it didn't work before. It's because I changed it on the wrong thing. Oh, that's foolish of me. I was changing the wrong UI, and that's why I couldn't see the changes. Oh, all right. Okay. Tired. I think this is working. Right. Okay. So let's do that back. So basically, I messed up the wrong UI, and that's why it was broken. It's broken it. Okay, that's fine. Let's leave that there. I'm happy to leave that as it is. So we've got power ups in. That's cool. We've got to do the change log. So this should be another fairly quick thing because I did add a. I think I added a change log package. I feel like this was something I'd done a while ago, but maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, so what we'll probably do is do a quick one, I guess. Do it over here. I had an idea of doing it with a scroll. I thought that might be quite a cool thing to have. So I could have one of these. Made big. Oh, I can't non-uniformly scale it, can I? 'Cause it animates. Never mind. Okay, I think that should be enough. I could, yeah, make a new UI for this specifically. Okay, that's my changelog UI. I'm going to add a UI widget to this. It is going to be in the world. Okay, so let's go high quality. Right, text size. I'm not bothered about that. What I want is a title. And then a changes, which I'm going to I could format as HTML, but I'll leave it like this for now. Just keep it simple. Okay, going to reduce the size of some of these things. Let's split this up so we can see easier. Okay, so sign itself is going to be way too big. That helps. I want the title to be. All right, I guess it's a H1, so let's adjust the H1 and make that a bit bigger. I guess we want to put it up to the top. So let's remove justify content center. There we go. Cool. So we've got change log at the top, and then underneath the changes, that a little bit bigger. Cool. These are the changes. So what have we got this time? We have power-ups added to the hunter. Power-ups added to the hunter. Gun is now a one-shot kill. Hiders must get close to the hunter to restore health. You would format that a bit nicer, but maybe that could be something I can do off stream. Let's add some padding, get it away from the sides. In fact, yeah, I think this is really looking great, is it? What I might do quickly, data bind value. I'm going to change that to data bind HTML. That still works. And what I should be able to do is add in some line breaks here. So if I do this, okay, it doesn't quite. It just takes that as it is. Okay. I'm going to put them in divs. So basically what I'm doing here is making it so it renders out what I put here as HTML. And you can see that that's giving me the natural div breaks. Okay, yeah, that kind of works. I might just remove the background. There we are. Little change log there for players to find. Now these are going to need a bit more explanation, so we'll injure you. Use power-ups to help you find players. Get close to to restore lost health. Okay. That sort of works. Hopefully that explains those mechanics enough. I can work on that in the meantime. We've got a change log. We've got our things in. Oh, do BR tags actually work? I struggled with my game. I couldn't make it. Yeah, I think they used to, but it might have changed now. But probably the better way to do it is the way I've done it, with adding divs and then rendering it as HTML. So what you can do then, and is what I've done in Canyon Miners, is you could write in the text, you could give the divs a class, for example, and then that class can kind of color text and do stuff. So because you can parse your text as HTML, you can do quite a lot to actually make it quite, work quite well. You can add some formatting and stuff quite nicely at the properties level, and then it can parse it nicely in the widget. Let's just fire this up. Oh, there was one thing. Sorry, just quickly. I wanted to make sure that the hunter didn't have a health bar. That was a bit of feedback I'd got. I've unchecked display health. I'll just untick that. I was honest, I might just get rid of the overhead entirely on the hunter. We don't need that. Let's see if that works. Yeah, because I don't need to be able to see the hunter's health. Ideally as an NPC, I should only know the hunter is the hunter because they're holding a gun. Okay, so they've got the big name. Okay, so I can remove the name tag. Fine. Okay, so the health is regenerating. That's good. Cool. Okay, let's remove that player prompt. There we go. Let's remove that. Okay, cool. Right, I'm going to go ahead and publish this now. I think that's a pretty good point which to do so. So if anybody is around and wants to join in, feel free to jump in. It'd be quite good to get a little bit of a play and see how well this holds up in terms of keeping it balanced. So that's published now. I'll get a share code into the chat, but you should be able to see that live on the page later. Do the better, better thumbnail. If anybody has a kind of an interesting idea for a thumbnail, let me know. Feel free to throw on my way over Discord. It'd be much appreciated. We should see recently updated. Here we are. Guess who? Go ahead and give that a play. Yeah, if you haven't already, as I say, Crayta is available for free. So if you're watching this and you haven't played yet, then I'd highly recommend checking it out. You can find more information on Crayta.com or over on Discord, discord.gg/Crayta. Splugs is here already. Great. Let's get a share link generated. Okay, there we are. In chat is a code. Okay, Splugs is the hunter. To do the change in my outfit, probably. Hey Vilvis, just in time for the last little bit of the stream where we're going to play the game for a bit, so do jump in. I didn't increase the health tick down. Maybe that's something I should go and do, because yeah, we are losing health quite slowly. Does make it much harder to know where the hunter is. Not seeing their name tag. That's good. You want that NPC there. Dressing rooms for lobby. Yeah, AJ said the same as well. I wasn't sure whether to do like a dressing, like a different section, or probably just an extension of the lobby. But maybe, yeah, it needs some actual little rooms that you go and stand in so others can't see you. Yeah, I think that'd be quite cool. Oh, I unknowingly got close to the hunter because I got I got all my health back. Okay, here we go. Getting a pretty full lobby here. Oh. Okay. Right. Time to get some special abilities in Splog to see if they help. Have to be careful near the edge. Because if you step in the water, you'll get fried. Why am I losing health? So you're losing health as a means of a way to get you to basically go to the hunter to stop you from being able to just camp. So by stepping near the hunter, you'll get health back. So it's kind of a timer to force you near the hunter. Probably needs to count down a lot faster. Bilber scored a point. Oh, I see, because you killed yourself. Okay, I'm gonna go hunter. But yeah, so basically you're losing health over time just constantly. The idea being it's a way to stop you from camping and to get you to go near the try and find the hunter. Okay, right, let's see how this works now. Oh, power-ups is being covered up by the scoreboard. That's not good. I wonder if starting with one power-up would be good. It's tough even though I can see where Russ is. Okay, maybe starting with a power-up and everybody's health ticking down faster would be good. Thought I need to stand in a space so people have to come towards me. Nope. This is still tough. Okay, the power-ups are definitely something I think you need. Maybe even a couple of to start with. I got a minute left. Trying to spot people that are not like erratic enough. Okay, definitely went to shoot someone else then, but a different NPC got in the way, and I feel like that is. Oh, Splugster killed Splugster, so Splugster didn't get to me in time. Although that gave you a point. Oh no, come on. Gotta get at least one of you. Nope. You were killed by Slogster. Yeah, that's because you ran out of health. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to very quickly just jump back in and do a quick republish. I'm going to change a couple of things. I'm going to make it so you lose health a bit quicker, and I'm going to give you a couple of points to start with, which I think will allow you to basically try out a couple of the things. So I'll get another code out in a moment. You guys keep playing one more round if you like. A hunter ability. Power up points 2. Okay, so you're going to start with 2 points. And on the player health, I'm going to say you're going to lose 30 points. It's 3 times quicker. Let's go 50. You're gonna have to be quick. You're gonna have to try and encroach on the hunter more often than not. But let's see how that works as a balance. So let's go and publish that quickly. And I'll get a new code out for those that need it. But basically this should spin up a new version of the game when I go and play it now. I should end up in my own lobby. Okay, cool. That worked. So let me get a share code. Okay, a new link available for you. So if you want to jump over to that link, we'll come into a new game with the kind of slightly different changes. You could probably attach something to every player head to disguise your hair color style, like a helmet or bucket. That's not a bad shout, actually. I think that might work quite nicely. And that might be a good way to mix up the, like having random attachments to a degree. It kind of means that the NPCs are all a little bit different as well. Is there a kill trigger above the trees? There's a kill trigger around the island, the height of which might not quite cover the top of the trees. Oh, 2 hunters. How does that happen? Random attachments would be great. Okay, so I've got a couple of abilities. I'm not sure if me and Vilver are both hunters or if that's just a scoreboard. That's just a scoreboard. Right, so let's try using a radar. Someone is close. Okay. Oh, someone is close. Was that somebody? No. Which one of you was the... Ah, okay, cool. Right, so that worked. That worked really nicely, that radar. So I can see that I got close to someone, then had to really quickly, like, kind of pick someone to follow. That definitely helped. That's good. That's balancing is working. You were the hunter. Yeah, okay, that was weird. Not really sure why it picked 2 hunters, but yeah. Okay. I'm gonna give it another go. It seemed to kick some logic off straight away, which is weird, but yeah. Oh, you're all dying like really quickly now. Someone else can be the hunter, and I'm going to get a flavour for how quick you're dying. I guess 50 might be a bit too quick. Although you guys technically won because, you know, you die fast. Okay. Okay, maybe I'll reduce that. Oh, okay, yeah, you're going to die really fast if I'm doing 50 every second, aren't you? You basically get not long at all. Uh-oh, yeah. Okay, right. I'm going to go, I'll fix that because that's pretty broken. So I think 50 was too, 10 was too little, 50 was way too much. And at least now I've got a kind of an upper and a lower. I'll probably go 20. I think 20 will be smart. So quick change, quick republish, and we'll play one more round. So I think the balancing of getting a couple of points to start with is going to really help the hunter get off the mark. And I think 50 was way too much. So we'll jump in, we'll play one more, well, a couple more rounds hopefully on a version of the balancing that works. And then we should be good to go. 50 is insane. Yeah, 50 is hard. I find it hard to find the hunter. Yeah, maybe removing the... Maybe having to find the hunter to heal kind of needs you to be able to see where they are with the overhead. So maybe that's something I'll have to add back in. Okay, another share code coming your way. I also need to fix the problem with this sort of killing yourself through health giving you a point. Feels a bit broken because you sort of win as a team if you all die. Oh, what happened then? That was weird. Sort of threw Splogster onto the hunter team and then ended the round. Weird. Okay. You there, Vilva? Makes it quite easy to get your health back when the hunter's still. Okay, never mind. Okay, so Dry Coast is face down in the sand. Okay, that works quite nice as a mechanic. You sort of have to break out of cover to like really get close. Can players slide like the NPCs? Players, I think so. I think the NPCs have a slightly glitchier slide to do with the speed they move. But if you see someone sliding across the map like really fast, it's probably an NPC. I don't think the players can do that. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Maybe that worked. Did that work? That was close. Cannot believe I got away with that. Oh no. Okay, we sort of ignore the points at the end. I feel like the hunter wins because... Well, I don't know. I can't remember what the rules were, actually. But... Yeah, I'm going to go hunter. Direct, you can play if you like. There's a link above. We're only going to play for a couple more minutes, so be quick. If you do miss that, don't worry. You can come back on Thursday, and AJ's live for the play along. Right, let's find you 5 players. I'm going to go for the radar first. One of you around here is a player. Who's a player here? 6. Watching that number. Okay, there's a few of you that didn't stop then when all the NPCs stopped. So if you missed it, it's not super clear. There's something I need to work on. But when it says freeze, you've got a couple of seconds to stop moving because all the NPCs are going to stop moving. So if you keep running around, you become more obvious. Okay. But that's definitely working. It's definitely, you know, we're seeing some hunter wins now. So we are, you know, we're definitely seeing that come through in terms of the balancing. You know, before we had pretty much no hunter wins. At least now we're seeing that. And another goat hunter as well, maybe. If you do want to try and play as the hunter, then do come and stand in the corner over here. Otherwise, you'll always be a hider. I think we need the hunter's indicator again. Yeah, I think you're right there. I think it is making it difficult to find them in order to see them, like in order to sort of get close to them. Maybe 20 points a second is still a bit fast. Maybe 10 was alright. It just felt like it was a bit pointless. We're basically playing the same game as the hunter trying to find the person with the gun. Yeah, that's true. Didn't change my outfit. That was my downfall. Oh, that was pretty clutch. This is really, really kind of interesting sort of rule set now in terms of how people play this. I quite like it. Oh, unlucky. Okay, so it feels like there's definitely the mechanics, yeah, really sort of holding up there. I'm quite pleased with that. There's a lot we can do with this game in terms of the UI and stuff, but in terms of, you know, getting that sort of core gameplay down, I think it's definitely getting there. Play a couple of rounds, and then we'll call that a night. I'm going to switch outfit up. Maybe you should be able to use every ability once per round. Maybe. I guess it depends on how many people you're playing with, but the idea being every time you get a kill, you get a point for power-ups. So you are limited. But yeah, maybe once per round. Yeah, because I guess what we've probably quite easily done is made it so they are it's a bit too hard now. Oh, no. It's like how do you try and get out of a situation like that? You just gotta walk, right? You just gotta do something. Well played, well played. Okay, final round. We'll play one more. See if we can get the hunter this time, and we'll call that a night. But this has been fun. This has been yeah. I'm quite enjoying this project. There's a lot of kind of scope for things, and yeah, there's a lot more we could do with it. All right, let's go. Okay, final round for the hunter. Okay, there's that one. Okay, so we've got left. Two players left. And one of you guys over here is. Player that didn't stop. We've got 2 power-up points. Right, still walking after all the NPCs froze. So maybe that one's a little bit OP, but I don't know. Maybe it needs to be a bit clearer. So okay, we're going to call that a night there anyway. So thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a pretty good fun evening of play games. So yeah, do feel free to keep playing. Feel free to throw any feedback over onto Discord. And yeah, I think it's a pretty fun project. As I say, there's a lot of ideas I've got for kind of things I can slowly add. So what I'll keep doing is probably tinkering away with balance in the background. And then maybe next time we get to the stream, we'll do some more specific things. Or maybe we'll move on to a different project for the streams. And this is one that I just kind of update in the background on my own. But if you do have any ideas, then do let me know either down in the comments of this video if you're watching it as an archive. Or the best place to give any sort of feedback for any project or any game you might be playing on Crayta is by the Discord. There's a good chance that when the creators will be over on the Discord, it's pretty big, popular community. So yeah, do make sure you join us over there. It's discord.gg/Crayta. And again, as always, you can find us on various social media platforms at Crayta Game on things like Twitter, Instagram. And yeah, so AJ is going to be back not tomorrow. He'll be back on Thursday. So we're kind of skipping a night. AJ's back on Thursday this week with a play along stream at 7 p.m. BST. So the usual sort of play along time. So tons of new games came out actually over the weekend. We've got quite a lot of fun pirate themed games and stuff. So he's going to be playing through different kind of new games, and maybe we'll give this one another spin. So if you did like what you saw tonight, then do tune in on Thursday to maybe play it with a slightly bigger group. And I will see you all next week.